Be me, 26-year-old female, work as crisis counselor at mental health center. Always considered myself compassionate person who cares about everyone. Spend days helping people through traumatic experiences and emotional breakdowns. Notice disturbing pattern in how differently I react to male versus female clients. When women cry during sessions, feel immediate empathy and protective instincts. When men cry, first thought is often, why is he being so dramatic? Realize I automatically view male emotional pain as less valid than female. Start paying attention to my own biases during client interactions. Female client talks about depression. I validate her feelings completely. You're so strong for dealing with this. It's not your fault. Male client describes identical symptoms. My response is more clinical. Have you tried exercise or changing your routine? Unconsciously expect men to solve problems rather than process emotions. Notice other female staff exhibit same dismissive attitudes toward men. Male client attempts suicide. Female colleagues seem less concerned. Men always threaten but don't actually want to die. Meanwhile, female suicide attempt mobilizes entire crisis response team. Clear double standard in how seriously we take male versus female suffering. Attend staff meeting discussing client demographics and outcomes. Discover that male clients have significantly higher dropout rates. Assume it's because men are less committed to therapeutic process. Supervisor explains that male clients often report feeling judged. They say we don't take their problems as seriously as women's. Dismiss this feedback as typical male resistance to seeking help. Week later, overhear conversation between two female colleagues, discussing male client who lost custody of his children. Well, he probably did something to deserve it. Courts don't take kids away from good fathers. Automatically assuming man must be at fault without any evidence. Same women would never question female clients' version of custody dispute. Start documenting my reactions to different clients more carefully. Realize I show immediate compassion for women's relationship problems, but view men's romantic struggles as personal failings. Woman cheated on gets sympathy for trusting wrong person. Man cheated on gets advice about choosing better partners. Unconsciously blame men for their own victimization. Attend training seminar on recognizing bias in therapeutic settings. Instructor discusses racial and gender prejudices affecting treatment. Entire focus on bias against women and minorities. No mention of potential discrimination against male clients. Raise question about anti-male bias during discussion period. That's not really a significant issue in mental health settings. Room full of female therapists nods in agreement. Apparently, male suffering doesn't warrant examination or concern. Start paying attention to how women talk about men in private. Female friends constantly complaining about boyfriends and husbands. Men are such children, can't do anything right. Typical man only thinks about himself. Casual dehumanization disguised as harmless venting. Notice how women bond over shared contempt for male behavior. Watch female coworkers discuss male clients during breaks. Focus on men's shortcomings rather than underlying pain. He just needs to man up and deal with his problems. Why is he so sensitive about everything? Viewing male emotional needs as character defects rather than human experiences. Attend women's book club where discussion turns to relationships. Listen to women describe men like defective appliances. Mine doesn't communicate properly. I need to train him to do basic household tasks. Talking about human beings like pets that need behavioral modification. No consideration for men's perspectives or emotional experiences. Visit sister's house during family gathering. Hear female relatives gossip about male family members. Uncle going through depression after job loss becomes target. He should just get over it and find new work. Acting like victim instead of taking responsibility. Same women would organize support network for depressed female relative. Watch news coverage of workplace accident that killed 3 men. Story gets 30 seconds, focuses on company safety violations. Previous week's story about woman injured at work got 10 minutes. Detailed interviews with family, community support fundraisers. Clear message that male deaths matter less than female injuries. Attend dinner party where a conversation turns to military veterans. Women discuss PTSD and suicide rates with casual indifference. They knew what they were signing up for. Taxpayers shouldn't have to pay for their therapy. Same women support extensive funding for breast cancer research. Male suffering seen as acceptable cost of their social roles. Observe female friends' reactions to male homelessness crisis. They probably deserve it, must be addicts or criminals. No curiosity about circumstances that led to their situations. Female homelessness immediately attributed to system failures and abuse. Male homelessness attributed to personal character defects. Start questioning women's capacity for empathy toward men. Notice how quickly women dismiss male pain as weakness, while demanding endless support for their own emotional needs. Double standard suggests viewing men as fundamentally different species. Attend family court hearing with friend going through divorce. Watch female judge and lawyers treat father with obvious contempt. His emotional distress over losing access to children dismissed. Men always claim they care more about kids during divorce. Same officials show sympathy for mothers in identical situations. Father's tears seen as manipulation. Mother's tears seen as authentic. Research suicide statistics broken down by gender demographics. Discover men kill themselves at 4 times higher rate than women. Yet, suicide prevention resources focus primarily on women. Male suicide often attributed to personal weakness rather than social factors. Society treats epidemic of male self-destruction as acceptable loss. Visit male friend recovering from serious depression. Female mutual friends haven't checked on him once during months. Same women organized meal trains for female friend with minor surgery. When I point out this disparity, they seem genuinely surprised. We assumed he wanted to handle it alone. Automatic assumption that men don't need or deserve support. Attend presentation about domestic violence at community center. Speaker focuses entirely on male perpetrators and female victims. No mention of male victims despite comprising significant percentage. When I raise this point during Q&A, audience seems uncomfortable. That's not really the focus of tonight's discussion. Male suffering literally unspeakable in spaces dominated by women. Observe how women react to male vulnerability in social situations. Man opens up about struggles. Women become visibly uncomfortable. Change subject quickly or offer dismissive solutions. Same women spend hours processing female friends' identical problems. Emotional support seems reserved exclusively for other women. Notice how women discuss men's physical appearance and bodies. Casual objectification that would cause outrage if directed at women. He's not tall enough for me to take seriously. Look at his receding hairline, so pathetic. Treating male physical attributes as fair game for public mockery. Start examining my own dating history and relationship patterns. Realize I expected boyfriends to provide emotional support constantly, while offering minimal empathy for their struggles in return. Viewed their problems as less important than mine. Expected them to prioritize my feelings over their own well-being. Classic pattern of emotional exploitation disguised as relationship. Attend workshop on workplace harassment and discrimination. Entire focus on protecting women from male behavior. No discussion of harassment or discrimination targeting men. Male experiences literally invisible in conversations about fairness. When men do report harassment, automatically dismissed as less serious. Watch female manager berate male employee publicly. Humiliation and verbal abuse that would spark outrage if genders reversed. Other women witness this behavior without intervention or concern. Apparently treating men cruelly is acceptable professional conduct. Research historical attitudes toward male expendability. Discover consistent pattern of viewing men as disposable resources. Wars, dangerous jobs, family sacrifice, all expected from men. While women's lives and comfort treated as precious. Modern feminism maintained this double standard while claiming equality. Attend men's rights presentation at local community college. Sparse attendance. Mostly older men sharing personal stories. Female protesters outside mock speakers as crybaby losers. No curiosity about legitimate grievances being discussed inside. Automatic dismissal of male concerns as whining or misogyny. Start questioning fundamental assumptions about gender and empathy. Realize that women may be biologically programmed to care less about men. Evolutionary psychology suggests female empathy directed toward children and other women. Male suffering irrelevant unless it affects female well-being. Explains consistent historical pattern of male disposability. Speak with male therapist about patterns I've observed. He confirms that female colleagues often lack empathy for male clients. Women see men as problems to fix rather than people to help. Describes how female-dominated mental health field dismisses male experiences. Men seeking help often encounter additional judgment rather than support. Begin changing my therapeutic approach with male clients. Offer same validation and compassion. I automatically give women, notice immediate improvement in engagement and outcomes. Men respond positively when treated as fully human rather than defective. Realize how much damage I've caused through unconscious bias. Start advocating for male clients within mental health system. Challenge female colleagues when they dismiss male suffering. Lose friendships and professional relationships for defending men. Apparently caring about male humanity makes me traitor to womanhood. Now, work specifically with male clients who've been failed by system. Focus on providing empathy and validation. They rarely receive elsewhere. Coordinate with male therapists who understand unique challenges. Document systematic bias against men in mental health settings. Learned that women often view men as utilities rather than people. Emotional support, financial resources, physical protection, all expected. While male emotional needs dismissed as weakness or manipulation, dehumanization so complete that most women don't recognize it. Men are human beings, deserving empathy and compassion. Not walking ATM machines or emotional support appliances. Recognizing male humanity requires confronting uncomfortable truths about how women actually treat the men in their lives.